When you hear the word discipline, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For a lot of us, it's this image of just pure grind, right? A ton of effort, a lot of suffering. But what if that whole idea is just wrong? Today, we're going to explore a much smarter path, the architecture of what I call effortless discipline.
Oh yeah, you know exactly what this is about. It's the highlight reel of every single motivation guru out there. This idea that to really be disciplined, you have to be some kind of superhuman fueled by nothing but raw willpower, shouting affirmations into a frozen tundra. It's a lot. And honestly, it's exhausting just thinking about it.
And that's really the heart of it, isn't it? What if this entire philosophy of just try harder is not only kind of inefficient, but is actually setting you up for failure from the get-go? What if there's a way to hit your goals without having to fight a war with yourself every single day? To answer that, we've got to get to the root of the issue first. Let's call it the willpower problem, because the one tool we're always told to rely on, our willpower, well, it just doesn't work the way we've been led to believe.
Okay, so check this out. The myth is that we have this bottomless well of iron willpower. The reality? It's much more like the battery on your phone. Every single decision you make all day long, what to wear, what to say in that email, should I have coffee or tea? It drains that battery, bit by bit. Psychologists have a term for this, decision fatigue, and it is absolutely real.
And this is the perfect example. We've all been there, right? You have the best intentions all day. You ate the salad for lunch, you went to the gym, but by 10 o'clock at night, after making hundreds of tiny decisions, your willpower battery is blinking red. And suddenly, that sugary cereal you've been ignoring all day seems impossible to resist. Your willpower didn't fail because you were weak, it failed because it was empty.
So if our willpower is this limited resource, how do we ever achieve anything hard? Well, this is where we need a total mindset shift. We stop trying to be tougher and we start being smarter. We get into the world of designing for discipline.
And the key to all of this is a really simple but powerful idea called friction design. Instead of trying to force yourself to do things with your internal motivation, you just rig the game. You change your environment. You strategically add or remove steps, that's the friction, to automatically guide yourself toward the better choice.
I absolutely love this metaphor. A drill sergeant just screams at you, right? They demand more effort, more willpower, from a tank that's already running low. But an architect, they design a building where walking in the right direction is the most natural, obvious, and easy thing to do. And that is exactly what we're aiming for here. Building a life where the right choices are the path of least resistance.
Okay, so theory is great, but how do we actually become the architects of our own lives? Let's get practical and look at the blueprint. How do you apply this stuff? It's way easier than you think.
It all comes down to a really simple trade-off. You want to play fewer video games? Don't just rely on trying not to. No, you literally put the controller in the basement. That extra trip up and down the stairs, that's friction. On the flip side, you want to read more? Put the book right on your pillow. It's the first thing you'll see. See what we're doing? We're just making our natural laziness work for us, not against us. Look, you can boil this whole thing down to a super simple two-step process, especially for breaking those bad habits. First, just pick one. Don't try to change everything at once, you'll get overwhelmed. Then second, just think of ways to make it more inconvenient. Add 1 or 2 extra steps, like logging out of your social media accounts after each use, or putting the cookies on the highest shelf. That's it. It's often enough to break you out of that autopilot behavior.
Now, this is about more than just little life hacks and clever tricks. When you start consistently using friction design, something really fundamental starts to shift inside of you. It stops being about what you do, and it starts becoming about who you are.
And that, right there, is the ultimate endgame. You design your environment so perfectly that going to the gym or eating a healthy meal or picking up a book, it's not even a decision you have to make with willpower anymore. It's just what you do. It becomes your default setting. It's just an effortless part of your identity.
So as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with this one question. Take a look at your own life, your own environment. What's that one little bad habit, that one temptation that you can make just a little bit harder to get to, starting today? Because real, lasting discipline isn't about becoming a superhuman. It's about becoming a smarter architect of your own life.
Okay, let's just dive right in. We've all heard the advice, right? From career counselors, inspirational posters, our parents, that there's this big, life-defining quest you're supposed to be on. And it usually sounds something like this. Follow your bliss. Find your why. Discover your passion. It's sold to us as the absolute key to a meaningful life. But let's be honest, for a lot of us, it's just led to a whole lot of pressure and confusion. Because here's the massive gap, isn't it? The promise is this incredible life where your work basically feels like play. But the reality? Yeah, it's often just feeling kind of stuck, endlessly scrolling, and wondering why you haven't found that one magical thing yet. And all of this leads to a really crucial question. What if the entire idea is just wrong? What if passion isn't something you discover, like an ancient artifact?
You see, the problem with all that follow your bliss advice is that it treats passion like it's literally hiding under a rock somewhere. It suggests you just need to turn over enough stones and bam, you'll stumble upon it, fully formed and ready to go. But what if that's not how it works at all? Not even close.
So if searching doesn't work, what's the alternative? Instead of looking for something, what if we started building it? This brings us to a powerfully simple idea called the Spike Method.
The core idea here completely flips the script. It argues that passion isn't the cause of great work, it's the effect. It's the reward you get, the awesome feeling that emerges after you become good at something. It's the natural result of proficiency. And the process itself is surprisingly straightforward. It really just boils down to 3 steps. First, you just pick something, literally anything. The initial choice is way less important than just committing to it. Second, you deliberately work at it until you're just slightly better than the average person. And that's when the magic happens. In step 3, the passion, the enjoyment, that bliss we were all looking for, it just follows automatically.
Now, I know, getting good can sound super intimidating, but the goal here is way more achievable than you think. We're not talking about becoming a world-class master. The target is simply to get into the top 10% in whatever you picked. Just to be a little bit better than most people. That's the sweet spot. That's the threshold where the psychological rewards really start to kick in. So why does this even work? Why does getting moderately good at something all of a sudden make you passionate about it? Let's get into the psychology of why proficiency is so powerful.
The crucial point is this. We are psychologically hardwired to enjoy the things we are good at. I mean, think about it. When you're good at a video game, you want to play more. When you finally nail that one recipe, you actually enjoy making it for people. Competence breeds confidence and enjoyment, which our brains then label as passion.
At this point, I know what you're probably thinking. This sounds great and all, but it just brings up the same old problem. What in the world do I even pick to get good at?
And here is the most liberating part of this entire method. The specific activity you pick is secondary. It almost doesn't matter. The goal isn't to pick the right thing. The goal is to pick a thing and just commit to the process of getting better.
Seriously, it could be anything. The source material uses the wonderfully mundane example of pressure washing driveways. Could you become passionate about that? According to the Spike Method, if you become one of the best driveway pressure washers in your area, you absolutely could. You'd love the satisfaction, the results, the expertise. Passion can be built from anywhere. And this shift in approach, well, it builds into something even bigger. Because this isn't just a new way to find a hobby. It's a new way to see yourself. It's about shifting your entire identity from being a passive consumer to an active builder. This contrast is really at the heart of the idea. So many of us define our personalities by the things we consume, the media we like, the brands we follow. The Spike Method offers an alternative, an identity based on proficiency. It's a shift from saying, I like these things, to, I am skilled at doing this thing. It's an identity you earn, one that builds real self-esteem and that nobody can take away from you. So, to wrap this all up, the key takeaways are simple, but they're incredibly powerful. Stop waiting to be struck by some kind of inspirational lightning. Instead, pick something, anything, and start building a skill. Aim to be just a little better than average and trust that passion isn't the starting line, it's the finish line. This leaves us with one final, and I think much more exciting question than what is your passion? Forget that. The real question is, what skill are you going to build? What will you spike?
Are you so tired of being told that saving money means you have to give up literally everything you enjoy? Good, because we are about to completely tear that idea apart. In this explainer, we're going to uncover a really simple truth about your spending that could change everything, and without any of the usual guilt trips, I promise. You've heard it all before, right? This quote, it just perfectly captures the kind of completely out-of-touch financial advice we are constantly being fed. It's exhausting, it's totally unrealistic, and you know what? It's just not helpful. Okay, so let's dive right into this. The very first step to actually fixing our finances is to escape what I call the guru trap. And this is that whole cycle of shame-based advice that, honestly, it just sets you up to fail before you even get started. I mean, just look at the difference here. On the left, you've got the typical guru advice, right? Stop buying avocado toast, hustle 24/7 until you've got $1 million in the bank. It's just so overwhelming. But look on the right. A simpler way. What if you just had to fix one single spending habit? Suddenly that feels actually possible, doesn't it? So if the gurus have it all wrong, what's actually getting in our way? Well, this brings us to the big idea of this whole explainer. It's time to identify the real problem, and it actually has a name: the lazy tax. Yeah, let's just be super clear about this. That daily coffee is almost never the thing that's going to break your bank. So if lattes aren't the real problem, what is the real reason you can't seem to save? The answer is probably something you don't even realize you're paying for. And here it is. This is the lazy tax. It's the money you spend on things you don't actually need, specifically to impress people you probably don't even like that much. You see, it's not spending for joy. It's not spending for a real purpose. It's spending for perception. And it is this quiet, totally invisible drain on your finances. Now, I know this idea might feel a little abstract, so let's make it super concrete. We're going to walk through a couple of funny examples to help you start spotting your own lazy tax out there in the real world. Get ready, because you might just recognize yourself in this next part. So let's paint a picture with our first example. This right here is the classic lazy taxpayer. I bet you've met someone like this. And their motivation is almost always the same. They're way more focused on looking the part than they are on actually living it. Okay, here is a perfect example. We've got the first-year computer science student starter pack. They have the brand new top-of-the-line MacBook Pro. Of course, check. They're wearing the designer hoodie. Check. The laptop is absolutely covered in cool, artsy stickers to prove how creative they are. And all this incredible gear is used to write one single line of Hello World. That is a textbook case of the lazy tax. Or hey, how about this one? It's a little more subtle. That trendy, way overpriced sugary granola or that pre-made peanut butter and jelly sandwich you get from some boutique cafe? Come on, you're not paying for the nutrition. You're not really even paying for the convenience. You're paying the tax to be the kind of person who buys their lunch from that specific place. Okay, so we've called out the problem, we've seen it in action, so now let's move on to the solution. And forget those crazy 10-point plans. This is the two-step fix. And trust me, it is deceptively simple. And here is the fix. It's just 2 simple steps. Step 1 is all about awareness. Before you buy something, just ask yourself one quick question. Am I buying this for me, or am I buying this for how it's going to make me look to other people? That simple little check-in is how you stop paying the tax. And step 2, automate your savings. Set up a transfer to your savings account for the day you get paid. If you never even see the money in your main account, you'll never miss it. It is the ultimate set it and forget it strategy. All right, let's bring this all home. What is the one big thing you should walk away with today? This is your financial takeaway, and it really gets to the heart of why this simple idea of the lazy tax actually matters so much. Really, the most important message is right here. Financial simplicity isn't about sacrifice. It's not about making your own detergent from despair. It's just about awareness. It's about making sure your spending actually lines up with what you value, not what you think other people value. So I'll leave you with a final thought to chew on. Take a second and be really honest with yourself. Based on everything we've just talked about, what lazy tax will you stop paying this week?